Hi everyone, notes 2.7 are on ratios and percents, and this is part 2 of 2 videos, and this is actually the last video in this unit. So in our first example, we are told that the regular price of a video game is $80 and the game is on sale at a 25% discount. Find the price of the game after the discount. So I'm going to actually show you 2 different methods to determine this solution. So method 1, we are going to take the 25% that we are given right here, and we are going to convert 25% to a decimal. And 25% as a decimal, all we have to do is divide 25 by 100. And when I divide 25 by 100, I end up getting 0.25. So here I have 0.25. Now, just a reminder, when you divide by 100, you're pretty much just moving the decimal place over 2 places because 100 consists of 2 tens. So 25% as a decimal is 0.25 right here. Then after I do that, the next thing I need to do is to just multiply $80 by this 25% as a decimal, which is 0.25. So we're going to write 80 times 0.25. And when I write 80 times 0.25 into my calculator, I get $20. And this should make sense because 25% is a quarter of the amount and $20 is a quarter of 80. So here I can say that this is $20. And let's do this in a different color so that we can do our next step. So our next step, we have to be careful here because this right here is the amount of money saved. It's not the actual price. And it shouldn't make sense that you would pay $20 because if the video game was originally $80 and it's a 25% discount, $20 as the final price is a lot bigger of a discount than 25% is. It just logically doesn't make sense because this is the amount of money saved. So we will find the sale price by subtracting. So I need to take the original price, which is $80, and I'm going to subtract the amount of money that's saved, which is this $20 right here. And when I subtract the two, I end up getting $60. So my final price will be $60. Okay, so that's one method. Let's talk about another method that we have. So if we have 25% discount right here, that means that we have to pay 75% of the original price. And how did I get that 75%? Well, the original price is 100%, and we get to take off 25%, and 100 minus 25 is 75%. It's what's left over from the full total amount. Then we can find 75% as a decimal. So we can just move the decimal place over 2 times, so it's 0.75. And then the last thing that we have to do is just multiply the $80 by 75% as a decimal, because we just are essentially finding out what 75% of the original price is. That's what's left over. That's how much we would have to pay. So when I do 80 times 0.75, I end up getting the 60 that I'm looking for right here. So this right here will be paying $60 full dollars. Okay? Okay, so now in our next example, it tells us that the price of AirPods is $219. How much would you pay for it after an additional 13% tax? So for this, we have 2 methods as well. For method 1, you would need to figure out what 13% is as a decimal. So again, we just move the decimal place over 2 times, so it's equal to 0.13. Now, once we figure that out, we can multiply the total price, which is $219, we can multiply that by the 0.13, the tax that we have here. So let's go ahead and figure out what that's going to be. So $219 times 0.13 would be $28.47. Now, be careful because this is not the final price. It would be amazing if I went to a store to buy AirPods for $219 and I end up paying $28.47 for them. This just represents the tax. This is the extra money that I have to pay on top of the $219 to figure out what my total amount is. So the last thing that I need to do is add the tax to the price. And the tax is this $28.47, and I'm going to add that to the price, which is this $219 that we have here. And it doesn't matter what order you do it in, okay? So let's go ahead and add these two numbers together. So $28.47 plus $219 gives me $247.47. So here I can say $247.47, and this right here is my final price or my final cost. Okay, so that's one way we could think about it. Another way that we could think about it is as follows. 13% tax means that you are paying the full amount plus an additional 13%. Well, the full amount is 100% because 100% represents the whole. So 100% plus 13% is equal to 113% of the price. Okay, so I'm adding the 13 to the 100% that we have right here because tax is added on. As opposed to our last example, we subtracted it because a discount is taken away from that 100%, that full amount. Okay. Next, I need to write 113% as a decimal. So I'm going to move this decimal place over 1 2 times, so I would get 1.13. And then the last step, the only thing that I have to do now is just multiply the price, which is 219, by the 113%, 1.13. And this right here will give me my final price. So let's go ahead and do that and see what we get. So 219, multiply that by 1.13, and we get $247.47. And this is our final cost. You can choose whichever method makes the most sense to you. Okay, in our next example, it tells us that a $50 sweater is on sale for $32. So this is the original price and this is the new price. And we want to know what the percent of discount is. So the first thing that I need to do is find out how much money I saved. So to figure that out, I would take the original price, which is $50, and I would subtract the sale price, which is $32. So now I know that I saved $18. And then once I do that, to figure out how much, that percent is, I have to figure out what 18 out of the total price was, which was 50. So I'm going to divide 18 by 50, and I end up getting 0.36. And it's really important that you divide it by 50, you divide it by the original price, because if you don't divide it by the original price, you won't get the right answer. So this is 0.36, which is, as a percentage, going to be equal to 36%, because we just have to move the decimal place to the right 2 times. So our answer here is a 36% discount. Now, another option that we have, and again, I'm giving you a couple options so you can choose whichever method you prefer. Another option that we have is to find out what percent was paid. So we can see that we paid $32 out of the original $50. So 32 out of 50, when I divide that, is 0.64. So here we can say this is 0.64, which is 64%, because this just has to get moved over 2 times, right? So we know that this is 64% paid, but I want to know what my discount was. What percent did I save? So I'm going to find the percent saved. Well, how do I do that? By taking the full percentage, which is 100%, subtract the percent paid, which is 64%, and then we get 36%. So we know that we have a 36% discount. Okay, either way works. You choose whatever you prefer. Okay, In our next example here, it says that Jordan wanted to buy a new electric guitar, and the guitar originally cost $399. The guitar was on sale for 28% off. And we want to know how much did Jordan pay total after tax too. So we have to make sure that we include our tax here. And tax is, we're assuming that Jordan lives in Ontario, and tax will be 13%. Okay. So the first thing that we need to do is find how much money was saved. And to find how much money was saved, all I have to do is take my $399 and multiply that by 28% as a decimal, just like we did in our previous examples. I think question number 1 is how we did this. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply 399 by 0.28 and see what I end up getting. 399 times 0.28, and I get $111.72. So here I can say this is 111.72. Now, just a reminder that this is how much money was saved, not the final discounted price. So be really careful about that, okay? Then I can find the discount price. How do I do that? I take the original price, which is $399, and I subtract the amount of money that was saved, which is this $111.72. So let's go ahead and do that. 399 minus 111.72, and I end up getting $287.28. So this tells us that the discounted price is going to be $287.28. All right. But this is not the final price. This is just the discounted price right here, because we still need to figure out how much we're going to pay after tax. So the next step that I need to do is find the tax, but it has to be on the sale price. It's not on the original price. It's not fair for us to get taxed on this $400. It's more fair to get taxed on this $287.28, because that's what we're paying. So to find that out, we would multiply this 287.28 by 13% as a decimal. So I'm going to multiply it by 0.13. So let's go ahead and type that in and see how much that's going to be. So here I get 37.3464, and I'll write this down. But we're talking about money, so we round to the nearest cent. And this 4 right here is the nearest cent, and the 6 comes after it. So that tells us what to do with this 4. And if it's 5 and above, you give it a shove up. So this is going to be $37.35. This 4 becomes a 5 because the 6 bumps this 4 up. Okay, and this $37.35 represents how much tax you are paying. It is not the final answer, and it doesn't make sense that that would be the final answer, because if the guitar was originally $400, I'm not going to be paying $37 now, right? So last thing I need to do is find the final price. And the final price is going to be the discounted price, this $287.28, plus the tax. So let's go ahead and add those together. I'm going to take $287.28 and add $37.35 to that. And I get $324.63. And this right here is my final answer. So really quickly, I want to show you another way you can do this really quickly if you like it and you understand it. But if you prefer this method that we did right here with the 4 steps, go ahead and use that method, okay? So if it's 20% off, then you're paying 72%. And if it is 13% tax, then you're paying 113% of that price. And this is really nice. If you understand what's going on, you can use this method. So $399, I'm going to pay 72% of the original price. I'm going to multiply that by 0.72, and then, because I want to write this as a decimal, and then I'm going to find the tax by multiplying by 113%, which is 1.13. Watch what happens when I type that into my calculator. $399 times 0.72 times 1.13, and we end up getting this $324.63 right off the bat, which is really nice. All right, in our next question, it tells us that the number of TikTok users increased by 22% from 2019 to 2020. So if the number of users in 2019 was 37.2 million, approximately how many users were on TikTok in 2020? So this 22% right here is really important, okay? And the fact that it's in 2019 we had 37.2 million is also important as well. So we start, and let's color code this blue just to be consistent. So we're going to start with that 37.2 and we're going to find 22% of that amount. And we're going to leave the million off as we're doing our calculation. So here I'm going to write down 37.2, and then I'm going to multiply it by 22% as a decimal, which is 0.22. So when I multiply that, I get 8.184. And this is in millions because this 37.2 was also in millions. So we know that this is how many more users there were in 2020 than there were in 2019. But 2019's users are still there, so we need to add that 37.2 and that 8.184 together to find our total. And when we add those two numbers together, we end up getting 45.384 million. And sorry, I did not mean to put a dollar sign here. So we can say that approximately in 2020, there were approximately 45 million users. Okay, another option that we have is if we know that the users in 2019 are still there, we have 100% of 2019's users plus an additional 22%. So that's 122%. And 122% as a decimal is 1.22. So we could also just take that 37.2, multiply that by 1.22. Let's go ahead and see what we get. And we get 45.384. So we can say this is approximately 45 million users. And that's it for this video. If you have any questions, let me know. And hopefully you will do okay with this percent stuff. I will see you in class soon. Bye. Have a good day.